Good day, sweet world! It's time for another No Dunks Emergency podcast presented by FanDuel. We got the whole crew back in the yard for our third show of the day. This is good practice for Thursday's NBA trade deadline day spectacular. And the Southern lawyer is getting his reps in. Have at it.
We got ourselves a trade.
Yes, we do. Another one. Wow. The Boston Celtics are acquiring center Nikola Vučević from the Chicago Bulls in exchange for guard Anfernee Simons. The two teams will also trade future second-round picks to each other as part of the deal. Shams all over this one once again. Trey Kirby, your Bulls are not done making moves. Your thoughts on getting Anfernee Simons and Vooch saying goodbye after what, five plus seasons with the Chicago?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Been a long time, J.E. Skeets. The Levine, DeRozan, Vucevic era finally coming to an end in Chicago. Didn't have to trade a single first-round pick to get off of any of those guys. So this is a big-time win for the Chicago Bulls. I'm surprised, honestly, that somebody traded for Vucevic. I said maybe an hour and a half ago, I thought he would be a buyout guy. I know there are some Chicago media peeps speculating that this might have been a favor by AK trading Vucevic to a contending team in the Celtics, but, they switched out their own second round picks. Celtics sending a second round pick back. We'll see what becomes of Anfernee Simons. I don't think it's a guarantee he plays for the Bulls this season. He could be rerouted, I do believe, but a cap move, no doubt, for the Celtics as they're trying to get out of the luxury tax. They still got some work to do. But yeah, we're doing an emergency podcast for a Nikola Vučević trade in 2026. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I'd say that's downright sad and depressing, but here we are.
This is a two-time All-Star we're talking about here.
Yeah. What do you think, Tass? I guess my question is, do you think this was more of just an on-court move for the Celtics to get a big in Vucevic, or like Trey said, is it more of them cleaning up the books a little bit, getting it a little bit more in order, though they got work to do still there, or is it both? And it's like sort of win-win for them.
I think there's definitely an aspect of having a basketball player who's a big man out there that they want. To have a poor man's Al Horford out there, a guy who will definitely extend the floor, and like Al, can't defend the rim, but unlike Al, can't defend all that much. That's the problem with Vooch, but I think a big of it is, we're going to shoot a ton of threes, and this man is a plug and play for that. So it's not that sad that we're doing a live podcast for Nikola Vučević, because this is the Eastern Conference, and they have hopes of achieving a lot. I think this makes you start to think, is Jason Tatum coming back this season? I know it's not one or the other. It's not predicated on Tatum coming back, but it starts to make you think that if Tatum comes back, and now they at least have a guy who's different than a Neemias Queta or Xavier Tillman, the fact that they at least have options at the 5, and because Joe Mazzulla will have this team shooting threes, and this guy is the absolute perfect player for that. And I know it feels odd that it was nearly 5 years ago. I remember where I was when we did that emergency podcast where Nikola Vučević was traded from Orlando to Chicago. It was a March trade because it was an odd COVID year where things were pushed back a little bit later. I was in my mother-in-law's house because we were moving and we were staying there for a little bit. And I was excited for the Chicago Bulls to have to give up just 2 first-round draft picks for Nikola Vučević, thinking they're going to piece things together. Now, there was a lot of pieces to put together. It obviously did not work out all that well, especially those first-round picks, Franz Wagner and what that turned into. But this is different in Boston in that they are an established product, and Vooch can just be there and just shoot that thing. Again, the defense is an issue, but from the Boston side, you can see why that happens. The Chicago side, Trey, is so interesting as to who they keep around after this season. With all those guards they have so many.
Yeah, let me read the list of guard depth on the Chicago Bulls as of Tuesday afternoon here, because I assume there are some more deals coming. But they have Josh Giddey, they have Kobe White, they have Ayo Dosunmu, they have Trey Jones, they have Yuki Kawamura, who's on a two-way, and
Nice
then
one.
for three more guards here today in Jaden Ivey, Mike Conley Jr., and now Anfernee Simons. That is 8 guards right now. And do they even have a center on the team? I guess Jalen Smith is their center. He's not even that big. They got Zach Collins. So Trey, do you think there's, well, I know you do, but more moves still to come here in Chicago?
Yeah, I do. Look, the Bulls are making smart moves here all around. Starting with the Ivy trade, this is a smart move to get off of Vucevic, take a dice roll on Simons. I don't really think they should sign Simons. Like, why would you trade for Ivy and Simons at the same time? But the best part about this is that the Bulls are ensuring that they are not pushing hard for the play-in tournament. You're not going to win a lot of games if you keep trading all of your veterans. Right now, outside of Simons, Patrick Williams is going to end up being the highest paid player on the Bulls. And if he is like the leading scorer, then your team is going to be bad. And that's the best news for the Chicago Bulls. They might luck into a decent draft pick and a franchise superstar going forward. I'm a little nervous, though, that they're clearing all this cap space and doing these moves for guys in Ivy and Simons who need to be re-signed immediately. Mm-hmm. They will have leverage over Ivy as he's a restricted free agent, so they can kind of call their shots there. We've seen restricted free agency be a tool that teams have used very wisely in the past couple of seasons. Simons is an unrestricted free agent. He's a couple of years older than Ivy as well. To me, he seems like he's probably just going to finish out the year in Chicago and search out for a bigger deal somewhere else. Though, like I said, he might be rerouted in the next couple of days as well if there's a team that says, yeah, we can take a chance on a bench scorer, because Simons was pretty solid in Boston. I thought, especially once the calendar flipped
slowly,
over.
Yeah.
Once we got to 2026, he started having his little outbursts. He gave definitely a better effort on the defensive end than he had when he was playing in Portland. So I think he kind of remade himself a little bit as a player to the point where a contending team could at least take a chance on him and see what he does in some high leverage situations, because he acquitted himself quite well, I thought, for a month here in Boston. What are the Celtics getting in Vucevic? I don't know. Is he going to be a starter for them? Maybe. I think they like the switchability of Keita, the athleticism that he brings, though Tass is right. Vooch does shoot threes. He's like a 40% three-point shooter. We've seen him hit some big ones during this year, so maybe he takes some big shots. At the very least, he's like a massive upgrade over Luka Garza. Luka Garza is a poor man's Nikola Vučević, if we're being quite honest. Vooch does rebound. He cannot move his feet. Celtics fans, Joe Mazzulla, are going to be furious at this guy many times during the year when somebody gets a backdoor layup and all you see from Vooch is, what? I'm supposed to be covering for all these guys? He's got a better defensive backbone in Boston than he ever had in Chicago. He was a part of good defenses when he played in Orlando, had a bunch of guys covering for him. But I don't really know what the Bulls are doing. They're facilitating trades for the most part. They're helping other teams get done what they want to get done. Like we talked about, the Timberwolves basically made a cap move, and the Bulls were there to be able to hop in and get a decent piece. I think what the Celtics are doing here is 95% cap related, and that they're trying to get underneath these aprons and the luxury tax, but they're able to help out the Celtics as well by giving them a player that can at least be useful for them. So I think the right thing all around. And I think, like Tass is saying, this does give us a little bit of a preview of how the Celtics are feeling about Jason Tatum. There will be shots to be had on the perimeter, and that's going to go to Tatum rather than a guy like Simons.
Yeah, with both guys on expiring contracts here in this deal, Anfernee Simons makes $27.7 million, Vucevic makes $21.5 million, so that does help Boston's books. It doesn't get them all the way out of the luxury tax, but they're now below the first apron, which could open the door here for some other win now moves if they're not happy with this team. But yeah, maybe it is this case of like, we got Tatum coming back. Thank you, Simons, for your service. We knew Anfernee Simons wasn't going to be in Boston for the long run anyway. Like, basically ever since he got traded there, it was like, well, he'll likely be moved before the deadline. And he did sort of rehabilitate his image. Slow start, got it going, found his groove. is a guy that's played now 8 seasons in the league and was a starter for the most part as he turned into one in Portland and then just came off the bench. And like Joe Mazzulla, he praised him a lot for taking on that role and obviously helping with the second unit. So we'll see if he sticks in Chicago or not and trying to get another contract. But Vooch, baby, I'm a little concerned defensively against these bigs in the East with Jalen Duren or Cat and Mitchell Robinson or Joel Embiid. He's just so poor defensive, but maybe he's helped out in a better system, like Trey said.
You would think so.
Yeah.
That there would just be, like Trey said, and he throws his arms up a lot and says, wow, yeah, who's to blame here? Now, after the game, you can also hear him call out his team. And so in a scenario where you can't call out your team in Boston, I mean, you will have Mazzulla be calling you out all the time. Maybe you step up. Maybe you develop a little bit more of a spine on that defensive end. So there's that hope. And I think that's what Boston is looking for. The moves to slowly trickle down the amount of bucks they got to pay out, trading Drew Holiday for Anfernee Simons, and Anfernee Simons turning in to Vooch. It seems extremely smart. It's so fun looking at a deal that's an expiring for an expiring, and to think who is getting kept around by this new team. I said Vooch is kind of a poor man's Al Horford, and in their eyes, I think it's hopefully he's an Al Horford of the end of his career as well, who's willing to take a pretty cheap contract to stick around with a really good team, because Boston is that. As for Simons, I have no idea. It is so interesting with those 8 guards that Chicago has. 2 of them are signed. Giddey is their lead moneymaker for sure at $25 million next year. They've got Trey Jones, so there's those 2 guys. But then beyond that, Anfernee Simons, as we said, an expiring deal. Yeah, he signed a 4-year, $100 million deal back in 2022 to get him to this point. It feels like he could be got for even less of that amount, even though he's entering his prime. He's obviously a bucket off the bench, but it seems like you could get a decent deal. But I don't know if the Bulls want to keep him around with exactly what Trey mentioned, with going to get Jaden Ivey, and then the option of keeping Ayo around, who's different than all the rest of these guards. And it seems like Kobe White was definitely destined to go somewhere else at this point. So they just have a billion options. So this can't be it. I don't know if we're doing an emergency a couple of hours from now for Kobe White, but it sure feels that way. It's going to be happening before 3 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. That one to me stands out as a guy that, there's just too much duplication with these guards here.
Who's the big that the Bulls are going to be trading for here? Like, is it Anthony Davis, to go back to that? Is that a possibility? Is there another big that they're going to try to add to the roster here with some of these guards? Yeah. Do you have any read on that, TK, or any preference on who'd you like to see them continue to make a move for here, or just what do you think?
No one. I would rather them stay bad. Like, don't blow your load on Anthony Davis. Doesn't make any sense.
They probably won't.
Definitely not Sabonis. I mean, literally there was Jakob Poeltl rumors for the Bulls today. The Raptors would have to pay up for that. I would accept a couple of first-round picks to take on Poeltl's contract.
But nothing drastic like an AD or Sabonis.
No, absolutely not. No, this is the Bulls almost have a clean slate right now. And they've got all their own picks. They might get a Portland pick. It's lottery protected. I think it would stick with the Blazers as of right now, but there's a chance that the Bulls get that one. They've got, like I said, they got all their own picks. Now's a decent time to be a poor team. I don't think the next 2 drafts after 26 are all that hyped up, 27 and 28. But the smartest way to get a superstar player in today's day and age is to get them through the draft. It doesn't really happen during free agency. The Bulls are running out of things to trade that would have a high enough contract value, and B, be alluring to another team and have anything left over. So at this point, they should stay the course and sign Bill Wennington to a 10-day contract and bring him off the bench.
Why not? Here's a look, by the way. because of the Photoshop wizards out there of Vucci Mane in his Celtics jersey. I don't know if he's going to wear number 8. Josh Minot has that right now. How much will that cost Vuce to get the jersey off Josh? What do you think? What's the going rate? 20, 25K for a jersey?
Sure. Yeah.
Something like
that.
I
mean, Luke Kennard was wearing 3 for the Hawks, and CJ McCollum wore it in his very first game. So these jerseys can be had for a decent price.
Yeah, I mean, Vuce has only ever worn number 8 or number 9, and Derek White is number 9, so I can't imagine he'd be giving that up. So it's likely it'd be 8, I guess, if he gets it off of Josh.
And my guess is Iguodala was wearing 9 in Philadelphia when Vuce was a rookie, wearing number 8. So he probably didn't have the pocketbook or the pedigree to get that number off him, but he's higher on the totem pole than Josh Minot is.
Yeah. Yes, he is. And think about this with Vucevic now going to the Celtics here. Like, he could win a first round for the first time in his career. He's never been out of the first round. Like, he's barely been to the playoffs for a very long career. He's only been there.
Very true.
Times. Yeah, handful of times. In fact, it's not unreasonable that Vucevic plays in more playoff games this postseason than he has in his entire career. If he can get up to 15, 16 games played, which I think is what he's looking at in his career. So he gets to go to a winning franchise here, Tass, and should contribute. The Al Horford comparisons, yes, I buy it on the offensive end. Less so, of course, on the defensive end, where Al Horford, despite his age, is still like a much more sound defender. But yeah, can he hit some threes and hit a game winner or two? Sure. Guy can shoot.
Yeah, just to have, I mean, the comparison's also just the body, just to be out there and have a big that's an option like that. Now, Al Horford's got far more playoff experience than it's incredible. So he's played in, is it 3 first rounds that he's played in?
I think he technically played in a game with the Sixers way back, but yes, let's call it 3 first rounds for all intents and purposes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Those are some great series. Yes.
3 5-round series.
Yeah. There you
when
go.
Vuce was one of the stars.
He's played 16 total games in the playoffs.
Yeah. Interesting because, okay, so he would have to get to 3 series, 2 7-game series and then to a third. And my guess is that if the Celtics are playing 7-game series, Vuce is getting pulled eventually because that guy is going to be a target every time on the defensive end.
Yeah.
You're talking about Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren. They will run a screen and roll at him every single time down the court. And it will be effective every single time down the court. And eventually it'll just be like, we're back to Kada.
Yeah.
The good thing about every other Celtic that's going to be on the floor, they will make up for, attempt to make up for every step that Vuce is way too slow on, because that's what they do. They're good at that. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard. I mean, Vuce is going to play a max of 24 minutes a game. He's not going to play a ton because he's going to get burned too much. But he's just an option, and it's just wishful thinking. This is trade deadline, baby. It's wishful thinking time. It's squint and it's Al Horford. An old Al Horford, because Vuce is very old too.
He is also old.
Yes, that's a problem. But the direction that the Bulls are going, absolutely the way to do it, and just to continue to tear this thing down. Because as we've been saying, their money is not tied up beyond this year all that much. Basically, it's Giddey, Patrick Williams, Isaac Okoro, Jalen Smith, Trey Jones, and then cheaper guys like the great Matas Buzelis and others. But that's all they really have tied up into next year. And then maybe it's Jaden Ivey staying on for long term, but he's a restricted free agent coming up. So they don't have a lot tied up at all. It's under $100 million right now, and that's the way to do it.
So Vuce headed to the Celtics. Anfernee Simons going to the Bulls. You would expect the Bulls are not done, but we can wrap this up soon. If you missed our previous emergency podcast a couple hours ago, not even at this point, we did talk about Jaren Jackson Jr. being traded to the Utah Jazz in a 8-player deal, not 7-player deal like I had on the graphic last time. My bad, couldn't count. And then Jaden Ivey going to the Chicago Bulls along with Mike Conley Jr. in Kevin Huerter going to Detroit and the Wolves getting into the mix as well in that 3-team deal. So we already talked about those ones. I'm sure we'll talk about them more on tomorrow's podcast as we have a little bit more time to think about it. But yeah, here we go. Another former All-Star in Vucevic being traded. Not just
two-time All-Star.
Oh, both guys. Jaren Jackson Jr., I think, was a 2-time All-Star, too. And now Vuce.
Equivalent players, I've always said. Jaren Jackson Jr. and Nikola Vučević. Same guy, basically.
I'll tell you what. A small part of me is going to miss Trey Kirby trying to convince me, Tass, the world about how great Vucevic is night in, night out, trying to build up that trade value. I'm going to miss it. It's been a good
man,
run.
They got something back.
Yeah,
they actually got something back and didn't have to pay to get off Vucevic. This is a great day. This is a great day for the Chicago Bulls.
I would tell you to wave your flag out in front of your house, but I know you ripped that one. So
yeah, it's a big old hole in it. Just like the big old hole in the middle for the Chicago Bulls right now. I got to book a flight to Chicago. I might get a tryout.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're a big enough guy for sure. You can play the center position. Well, that's funny as we wrap up here. I said this to Trey right before we went live. It's like, do the Bulls play tonight? Yeah, they do. They play in Milwaukee tonight. You are going to see some insane rosters tonight in the league because the Utah Jazz also play tonight. And they just traded like 4 guys. And I can't imagine their new guys are going to be there. So they're going to have a funny roster. The Bulls are going to have a funny roster.
Is Noah Sangue going to get some minutes?
No, he's out for the season.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the Bulls didn't take the deal from the Pelicans that the Hawks did take. And then they drafted Noah Sangue, and he played 1 second and then broke his shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
But that was last year. That was last year. Now it's this year. Yuki might be the starting center. He won that jump ball.
Yes.
So they're like, hey, man, you can handle it inside.
Yeah, he's a better rebounder than some of the bigs in the league. I was going to say, what the hell was I going to say? Oh, Patrick Williams might actually shoot and score tonight. Might be forced to.
This is the time, Patrick. Go crazy. Go for 20, buddy. Put up a big double 10.
He's going for 30 tonight, man. I'm calling it now. All right, let's call it there. If you're new, thanks for joining us. Hit the like button, subscribe, podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. We will be back tomorrow unless we're back tonight. Like I said last time, that's a good question, Tass. If Kobe White is traded here in the next couple hours, I don't know. It depends who's coming back, right?
Is it? See, to me, it depends on where he goes to.
Okay.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, if he's like if he moves the needle for said team, okay. Otherwise, we'll probably see everyone tomorrow. But we do have a special coming up on Thursday, live all day. I'm getting a little concerned all these trades happening here in the days leading up to the deadline. Like, what? We're just going to be sitting there twiddling our thumbs maybe on Thursday. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. Like, this is the kind of trade that happens at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, right before the deadline. Let's get our books in order, which is why it makes me think maybe the Bulls would trade Simons, because now they got 48 hours to figure out another sort of trade, because this is pretty minor, all things considered. So maybe he's still on the move as well. We'll see.
We will see. Until tomorrow, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, a little known Chicago Bull, Lachlan Olbrich, has a great name. Lachlan Olbrich, and will definitely be playing tonight. Him and that stash. People.